Hello everybody, this is DKG's Avos and welcome to another Top 5 Takedowns. This week it's a little bit different. I'm doing a little bit of a special one. This week it's the Top 5 Worst NPCs in Pokemon. This is the best of the worst, the top percentage of the worst Pokemon NPCs of all time. They're mind-bending, brain-meltingly annoying, so bad that you just wanted to jump through the screen and strangle them until they were less annoying. Alright, without further ado, let's get right into it. Rounding out the bottom of our list is number 5, and number 5 is, well, Mom. It may come as a little bit of a surprise to some of you. Avos, how can you possibly hate your mom? She's your mom. You can't be mad at your mom. Doesn't matter how much she annoys you, you gotta love her. Well, she's my in-game mom, so none of that's relevant, let's be honest here. But it's not so much the fact that she's an annoying character per se, but it's the fact that she gets your hopes up and then lets you down. She saves your money on false pretenses, and really what it was that she wanted to feed her own shopping addiction. While yes, it's cool that every once in a while you could go to your box and get a super potion when all you could originally buy was a potion from the Pokemon Mart. Yes, you got a cool dolls here and there, but at the end of the day, it's still, she's spending my money, and she hopes that I'm okay with it. That was my college fund. Jerk. Alright, now number 4 is a little bit more controversial, but I guess that's how a top 5 list should be. It should be more interesting as we go down. Number 4 is N. And, really? N? This is supposed to be my arch rival in the entire game, and I have a hard time taking you seriously when you don't have a real name. You have a letter. A letter. And I guess that shouldn't frustrate me as much as it does, but how am I supposed to take you seriously without a real name? Anyway, while N was supposed to be the real leader of the whole Team Plasma cult thing, that's really where the whole story starts breaking down for me. They want to steal all these people's Pokemon to prevent them from abusing them. They want to wear obnoxious outfits, and they want to invade people's dreams with Muna so that they can spread their message further, and they're going to take people's Pokemon away so that they're not abused by other... I don't get it, alright? The whole thing doesn't make sense. But after all of this, after fighting and just trying, all hell breaks loose, right? They freeze an entire city. An entire city. And after all of this, I get on a Ferris wheel with the guy. I sit down and ride the Ferris wheel with my arch enemy, who wants to steal all of my Pokemon so that I can't abuse them. Why am I not calling the cops? I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. But at the end of all of this, he ends up not even being a bad guy at all. He's just misunderstood. Alright, well, I guess that makes a little bit more sense. My archenemy is just a really sheltered, misunderstood kid, I guess. And then the real bad guy is actually Getsis, and he was just manipulating N because he was really naive. I guess, okay. It makes a little bit more sense that way. It was just a really old man that really wanted the money, and he needed a pretty face to be the leader of this cult. But, honestly, he's just dumb and pretty. And I guess that makes for a solid number 4. But really, I guess the reason that I picked this is because it makes me feel like I'm playing Battleship. 4N. That's a miss. Number 3 is Youngster Joe. God, guys, I can't do this one. This one's so played out it has a Twitter account. Cut it, just cut it. We'll try a different one. This next one pains me to no end. It's the follow me guy. I don't care if he's tired and he just needs his morning coffee, or if he's just drunk and he needs to wake up from his hangover. It doesn't really matter to me. You don't need to show me around the whole Pokemon world. It just doesn't... I don't care. I just want him gone. Go away, old man. But wait, there's more! If you act now, you'll get your very own theme song. Guidepost theme is probably one of the most universally known Pokemon themes, or at least it is to me. Mostly because it translates over every single generation of Pokemon, and it just takes me back every single time to my days on the Game Boy trying to mash B and A on the same side with both hands, trying to get past this because I already know what he's trying to tell me. But you probably don't believe me that there's a theme song for each one. They don't even change it, they just remix it. Avos, you've got to be lying to me. How about your best friend and favorite, Red and Blue? Yeah. Well, that's fine, Avos. That's cool. How about Gold and Silver? Yeah, right here. Alright, Avos, that doesn't even really count. Those are basically the same region. Try again. Alright, fine, fine. We'll go fast forward for a minute. How about Black and White? That's just a coincidence, Avos. You know what? X and Y have it too. It doesn't really matter if you've been playing the Pokemon games for a day or a decade. Most of the things that they're trying to explain to you are pretty much, well, self-explanatory. Oh, you mean that big red building that looks different than all the other copy-paste buildings? Yeah, that's probably an important building. Oh, the blue one? Or in some of the rest of them, it's the same red building. But whatever. That blue one's probably important too. And I know that because I'm not stupid and I can tell the difference. In worst case scenario, I mean, I can probably just, like, guess and check. You know, for Gold version being my favorite of all the Pokemon games ever, it sure seems that the most annoying NPCs came from that version. Because number 2 is Whitney. I will say, I will put my hand to my heart, left hand in the sky, and swear on everything that I have that Whitney is the hardest gym leader ever. Mostly because the only thing that she's weak to is fighting moves, which you don't really have access to because she's so early in the game. And then, with Gen 2 mechanics how they were, rollout was impossible to stop at that point because it went until it missed, and then there was no ending. And it just kept building and building and building until it hit max damage and one hit everything that you had. But that's not the most annoying thing about Whitney. It's not the fact that she was hard to beat. It's not the fact that her Pokemon were broken. It's not the fact that Miltank is stupidly bulky and it can recover basically everything, and then it probably, I mean, whatever. That's not the whole thing. You know what annoys me most about Whitney? It's the fact that she's a sore freaking loser. You beat her after an hour and a half, and I've spent an hour and a half trying to beat her. I did it live. There's a video somewhere I'll probably post a link to that you can see my frustration and just how mad I am. But on top of that, once you beat her, like every other gym leader you expect, give me my badge. I earned this. This is mine, you can't take it away from me. And then you try and talk to her, she just sniffles and hiccups. And then you talk to her again and she continues to cry. And then after you get so frustrated that you walk away, that you give up on a badge that you know that you need to become the best, to become the Pokemon Master you know you were destined to be, you are so frustrated. You are at the boiling point. MTV is about to walk out with $100 and you walked away from the badge because you were that mad. And then you finally get the badge and everything's fine. I don't care. Whitney, you suck. Now, number 1. Number 1 is a little bit weird because some people may not even know that she exists, and that's probably the worst part, because not everybody had to suffer through the torment that was Yancey. Now, for anybody that doesn't know, spoiler alert incoming, but I've already spoiled a lot of things about Pokemon already, so big deal. Yancey's part of a side quest, and she drops her cross transceiver, and you have to return it to her. And you find this at the fair where that Ferris wheel that you took N on a ride for is, and You find it. And then you want to return it to her because, well, it's somebody else's cross-transceiver and you want to get it to him. So, how do you do that? Well, you have to find 15 specific individual tiles in the Pokemon world and go to them in the exact order that they're supposed to be. How do you do that? You cheat. You cheat. That's really the only way. All right, that's it. You go through a walkthrough and you watch and you see, and however somebody else did it. But you'd think after 15 steps and she finally calls you for the 15 times, she's ready to meet and get her cross-transceiver back. And you're like, yeah, I'm going to get something for this cross-transceiver. And she's like, hey, here's my number. You can call me. So after you call her literally 50 times to try and get something cool, what's she going to give you? Well, she's going to give you some rare Pokemon. But here's the thing. Every time that you have to call her, it has to be somewhere near those 15 places that you were previously. It doesn't have to be on the exact spot, thank God. Just in the general region. So like Route 13, Route 12, in the city or town that it was in. But here's the problem. Each time you call her, it's randomly generated which town or route or city she wants to be called from next. And thankfully, the Pokemon that she's going to give you are going to have the hidden ability that are even now still hard to come by. But is it worth it? The walkthrough that Marilyn did took over an hour to watch. And it took me over 5 hours to perform. Yancey. You want that contrary, Spinda? I'll see you in 2 weeks. Because every time she gives you a Pokemon, you have to wait a day to get the next one. 12 Pokemon. Spinda's number 11. See you in 2 weeks. Alright, everybody. Thanks for watching. Again, this has been DKG's Avos, and that was the top 5 most annoying NPCs ever. I don't even know. I'm gonna go outside. I can't even. I'm out of here.